Your cat has never once told you they trust you. Not in words, not in a meow, not in any sound you could point to and say, that means trust. Most owners assume trust is something they have to earn through treats, toys, or years of patient bonding. And while that's partly true, what they often miss is that their cat has already been answering that question, silently, every single day. The signals are there, constant and consistent, hiding in plain sight inside ordinary moments most people scroll right past. Once you know what to look for, you'll realize your cat has been telling you, I trust you, far more often than you ever noticed. Here's what most owners miss. Trust in cats isn't loud. It's quiet, physical, and deliberate, and it shows up in 5 specific moments that happen almost every day. Let's go through them one by one.
Picture this. Your cat is sitting a few feet away, looking right at you, and then slowly closes their eyes halfway before opening them again, almost like a sleepy, deliberate wink. Most people see this and think their cat is just getting tired or zoning out, but that's not random eye behavior. That's one of the most well-documented nonverbal trust signals a cat can give. Here's what most owners miss about this one. In feline body language, prolonged eye contact is naturally tense. Predators stare. Prey avoids eye contact. A direct, unbroken stare from another animal is read by a cat's nervous system as a potential threat assessment. So when your cat looks at you and chooses to slowly close their eyes, voluntarily reducing their own ability to watch you, they are doing the opposite of a threat response. They're signaling, I don't need to keep watching you. I feel safe enough to look away, even for a second. Feline behavior researchers have studied this exact action, often referred to as the slow blink, and found that cats slow blink more frequently at familiar, trusted humans than at strangers, and that humans who slow blink back tend to be perceived more positively by cats in return. It's essentially a mutual silent handshake, a way of lowering the emotional temperature of eye contact between two species that would otherwise read direct staring very differently. The practical takeaway here is simple. The next time your cat looks at you and slow blinks, blink back the same way, slowly, gently, without staring intensely. You're not just being cute. You're speaking a language your cat already understands and reinforcing the very trust they just showed you.
Most people know that a sleeping cat with an exposed belly is relaxed. But here's what most owners miss. When a cat rolls onto their back and exposes their belly while fully awake and alert, that's an even more deliberate trust signal, because it happens with full awareness rather than during unconscious sleep. A cat's stomach remains their most vulnerable area regardless of whether they're awake or asleep. Thin fur, no claws nearby, vital organs close to the surface. When a cat does this while awake, watching you, sometimes even stretching slightly afterward, they are consciously choosing to display vulnerability in a moment where they could just as easily stay curled up or guarded. This isn't an accident of relaxation. It's an active decision. Animal behavior specialists who study companion cats point out that this awake belly display is often confused with an invitation for a belly rub, which is part of why so many people get scratched attempting to pet it. The display itself isn't necessarily about wanting touch, it's about communicating comfort and safety in your presence. The cat is essentially saying, I feel secure enough around you to do this on purpose, in front of you, while I'm fully conscious. The practical takeaway? Don't treat this moment as a green light to pet the belly immediately. Treat it as confirmation of trust instead. If you want to respond, a soft verbal acknowledgement or gentle attention elsewhere on the body is usually safer. And respecting the signal without testing it tends to make a cat repeat the behavior more often, not less.
Think about how often your cat turns their back to you and just stays there. Sitting on the windowsill with their back toward you, lying down facing away while you're in the room, walking past and presenting their tail and spine instead of their face. Most owners barely register this. If anything, they might think their cat is ignoring them. But that's not what's happening at all. A cat's back is one of the areas they cannot see or react to quickly. Predators in the wild typically approach prey from behind, which means an animal that voluntarily turns its back on something is making a calculated decision that the thing behind them isn't a threat. Cats are no exception. When a cat sits with their back to you, especially in a relaxed, loose posture rather than a tense crouch, they're trusting that you won't use that moment to do anything that requires their attention or defense. That's not random. Veterinary behaviorists have noted that cats reserve back-turning behavior almost exclusively for environments and individuals they consider low risk. A nervous or unfamiliar cat will almost always try to keep you in their field of vision, repositioning themselves so they can watch you, even subtly. A cat that turns away and stays turned away is making a quiet but clear statement about how safe they feel. Before we move on, think about this. The next time your cat sits with their back to you across the room, resist the instinct to feel ignored. It's closer to the opposite. They've essentially decided you're not worth watching, in the safest possible sense of that phrase.